This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning, nature lovers. I hope that you're all very, very well. And a big warm welcome from all of us. You can see that Djuma Game Reserve, where I am this morning, is a little cloudy. But that's okay because it means it's 9 degrees Celsius and 49 degrees Fahrenheit, which is just a tad warmer than the usual, which I'm very, very happy about. Hello everyone, it's me, Trishal, and I've got Theo on the camera this morning. We are all very well, nice and warm, and part of our plans for today is to go to the hyena den, or at least hang out in the area. I've tried so much, and I've just not been lucky. We've only had one sighting, 1.5 sightings. The one sighting was just a drive-by. But hopefully we'll get lucky and the adults will be around the den a little more than they have been recently. So we'll pop by there a couple times just to double check, and I'll let you know each time if there's anything going on. Hopefully there will be. Remember that you can ask us any of your questions, give us your comments using the hashtag WildEarth or the YouTube chat stream. And for any kids out there, you can send your questions to kidsquestions@wildearth.tv. Look at that glorious color. Just wonderful out here. So we're on quarantine at the moment, making our way down. Tammy, you say beautiful. Isn't it just? I just love it. Hot ball of fire rising in the east, giving us a spectacular display. And just gorgeous. Well, off I go. I'm going to look for the hyenas. The first things first, I'll pop into the den.
Good morning. Another beautiful, glorious start to the day. Coming to you from Djuma Private Game Reserve in the Sabi Sands. I hope everybody is having a wonderful start to their day. We have decided to just pull up here on the side of the road in an open area and wait for the dawn. Hello everybody, my name is Steve and I'm joined by BK on camera, and well, we are very excited to have you with us. If you are willing to stay with us for a few moments, we're going to go back and frame that beautiful sunrise. Sorry about the levels there. I've parked very badly for BK, giving him a very hard time keeping things level, but if you're willing to stay with us for a few moments, I'm going to just keep quiet and allow you to take it all in. Anna Marie and many of you say what a wonderful, tranquil moment. You look forward to it. Well, I look forward to them myself, to be fair. Not sure if you heard lions in the distance coming from the northeast. Most likely the Telemati Pride. But quite far off. We're going to stay right here and let this sunrise unfold and send you over to Eric and beyond Ngala.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to And Beyond Ngala. My name is Eric, and behind camera is Owen, as always. We decided just to quickly stop and see what was going on this morning, spend that time in the next sort of 5 minutes just to listen and take in all the sounds. And the first animal that we've literally seen this morning is a really nice big giraffe who's hiding his head in the bushes there. Okay, I'll creep a bit forward. I think there's a bush in the way, so excuse the shake. There we go. It's a much clearer view. And he looks like he is in a very deep feed at the moment. It was quite interesting this morning. We started watching the sunrise and there was this beautiful pink and purple color, and then I think the sun disappeared behind the clouds because we're not really seeing any of it anymore. But quite unusual to see so many clouds around this morning. You see there, so you might just see on one or two of the edges of the clouds, we might see a touch of color, a little bit of yellows and oranges, maybe a bit of reds, but nothing that I expected. I thought we were going to see this beautiful array of reds and pinks and oranges. And that giraffe still hasn't moved. I'm sure you might be able to hear most of the animals. The birds are starting to... Megan, I completely agree with you. It seems like every animal that I see tends to be a giraffe. I don't know why. But I don't mind. I mean, I think they are a really cool species to look at. And I find when we've got guests that have come to Africa for the very first time, the majority of them are most impressed by these big giraffe, especially when they are walking out in the open. You can get to see them and how they interact with one another. They are a very, very interesting species and they are very cool to watch. Wish this one would show itself a little bit more. So... yeah, Jackie, the clouds are quite interesting. And like I was saying a little bit earlier, it's a bit unusual to see them or see such a strong layer like this in the wintertime. Usually it's a very, very crisp, clear morning. I mean, we've been seeing the morning star or Venus every single day for the last 2 weeks or so. And now, I mean, because of the cloud cover, we haven't been able to see it. So it is unusual. And I wonder if this might be the coming of a different weather front coming in. Maybe there's a cold front on its way. You never know. It does feel like the temperatures, it's not rising this morning. It's staying a constant temperature from when we started this morning at about 5:30. See, this giraffe is taking a moment. It looks like it's stopped and not moving. So just in case it might have seen something funny, I'm going to just see if I can follow its eyesight and see if it might lead us to something interesting for the morning. So whilst I try and figure out what it's looking at, we'll send you across to some really nice, big, large animals.
Some morning elephants. Exactly what I need. This one has been giving us a great example of how to use your trunk. If you have a trunk at home and you're not sure how to use it, watch this girl. Just gorgeous. I'm very excited this morning. I have beans, if that's what you call it. Full of beans. There we go. I had a teaspoon of peanut butter and a cup of tea, and I'm very excited and so excited to see the elephants as well. And hopefully that means that we'll be able to see the hyenas. In fact, I'm not far from the den at all. I'm just at the junction of Weaver's Nest and Philemon's cut line. So the den is right here on the junction of the den road. Rimple, you were actually wondering if we ever dunk our toast in our tea. I myself am not a big toast dunker, but if you give me a biscuit, I will dunk it, not dump it, no. Particularly a strawberry whirl. South Africans will be familiar with that biscuit or a Tim Tam. So for your trunk at home, what you want to be able to do is first get some good grip with those two finger-like protrusions. You need to know how to work those well. Exercise them by pulling off bark from a trunk. That's a great way to get some practice. And then you've got to take your tusk and slide it in between. There we go. And then pull along. That's how we get the juicy bark. Isn't she an excellent demonstrator? You should work at the university in the Department of Trunk Control. Feeling around. Any loose bits I can tug on? Oh, look at that. They really do use it like fingers. There are some theories that, based somewhat in science, but not really, it's just some people's thoughts, that given that elephants have these finger-like protrusions, and most importantly, have a limb that is freed up, in this case the trunk, with these finger-like protrusions, and the fact that they have around the same amount of neurons in their brain that we have, or neural connections, and the size of their brain and their intelligence, that if we weren't the dominant species on the planet, perhaps they would be. Interesting thought. But like I said, not exactly founded in a lot of science. There's a few scientific facts quoted, but it's mostly theory that has been spouted. Chrissy, you say you're loving these close-ups. Well, thank you very much. Theo is excellent at his close-ups. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's a good one. are so good at this. Something so large. They're able to be so careful with their trunk. They're not huge lumbering animals. They're gentle giants that are delicate. Very, very careful. Oh, look at that. That now, using the trunk to actually kind of make a cut through the bark so they can pull on another loose bit. Oh, just gorgeous. So glad we could share that together. Well, let me send you over to Doomy to say good morning, and I'm going to try to move towards the den through my roadblock.
Good morning, everyone. This is Dumi from and Beyond Pinda Private Game Reserve. As you can see, right behind the camera is Marcel, and we are actually searching some cheetah into this lovely open area. We're up on this beautiful mountain range. As you can see, the landscape, how beautiful it is. Beautiful weather as well to search these animals. Probably cheetah and lions. This is the area where we're thinking we might come across in a good luck, like this morning. We're trying to scan all over the place around here. Yeah, we haven't picked up anything yet, but we will also remember we rely on tracks. See if we find some tracks that we'll be able to follow. As you can see, over this mountain range, it's beautiful up here. We're hoping we'll find some very good luck into this area. Like, as you can see, how beautiful it is. Actually, this is my favorite place to come across driving a luck, searching animals. Also we like driving and stopping, listening if there's any alarm calling or vocalization for lions. It would be amazing to pick up those kind of sound, because this morning is much better weather. It's not windy at all. Yeah, Chris, this is a beautiful place for cheetah for sure. This is where that's why we come around hoping are lucky. We'll see if we come across on something. We'll share with everyone. We like to do that always. Just keep quiet and listen a bit. If there's any sound we can hear. Yeah, lovely. Well, we'll continue, and while we still have a nice time to search along this area, see if we can get anything there. All right. It's a lovely place to be. That kind of landscape, you can see a lot of different. Guys, we'll just carry on driving, see what we can find. Cheetah.
Thanks, Doomy. Well, we've moved on from our sunrise. It all got caught behind the clouds. And just having a look at some tracks now on our southern boundary. And while I find myself off the vehicle, yes, it is time to hug a tree. Good morning, beautiful marula tree. When last did you hug a tree, everybody? It is actually quite special to hug a tree. There's a lot of energy. The tree is rooted deep in the ground, and it's solid. It doesn't move, and when it does move, it dances to the music of the wind. There's a lot of power in it. This guy has stood here for a long time, this marula. He's stood here for a very long time, and he's just watched the world go by with an enormous amount of patience and fortitude to just grow, take the nutrients, provide shelter and shade. Possibly a leopard or two have perched themselves up in this tree with a kill. Any marks seem to be a wonderful example. And then a little bit of elephant activity, but a wonderful looking tree. Thank you. You stay strong and we will see you later. Okay, well, enough of that. Let's jump back on the vehicle and actually do some work, shall we? Whew, I'm excited. We're just checking our southern boundary, see if anything's happened. Those tracks, the audio of lions while we were stationary there were coming far from the Torchwood Bivilshoek side, so we're not going to follow up on them. We might, if we don't pick up anything here, do a complete boundary patrol on the eastern side, cheetah cut line, so that we can. I'm also looking for any activity of Tundi coming in or out. Okay, BJF, I love hugging trees, and appreciation is all there, sir. All there. There's the track. That's why we check these boundaries. I don't know if you can see that, Beaks. I'm sure you'll be able to. There's a track of a lion here. Can you see it? Okay, it's not very clear. In the light now, it's not that clear. So sometimes what's helpful is to just shine a bit of light. Does that help? You see it there. So this southern boundary is a very, very important place to check for tracks. Not many people actually drive this Firebreak Road. I drive it all the time. I haven't driven it in a few days, but this track is not fresh. You can actually walk a little bit. There's elephants on top of it. Track is distorted there. So it's not that fresh. So it's probably from the last time the Unkuhumas came in. But we're going to go along anyway, because you never know. They went that way. Raymond and I tracked them out of the property yesterday after we had them the night before. They went west. But these lions don't stay in one place, everybody. They move. They can really, really move. So let's just carry along here. It's always nice to see who's come in and who's come out. And if we find something fresh that's come in, we're going to put our attention to it. Yes. So we're going to carry on moving on our southern boundary, and Trishala, well, I wonder if you can guess where she's at.
So, I try at the den so often. Most of the time they're not here, but luckily for us today, they are here. And so are Ntima and Ribbon. Hello, little. This is so awesome. Do you know how much time I've come here trying to get them, and the only time we got them was in the evening that one time. So they were in infrared. And Tima just showing us who's boss because, the camera's here. Now to her, none of these, both these cubs are not a threat. She being a Ribbon's daughter. So I think she's just having a bit of rough play. One thing that makes me very uncomfortable about this den, and if you don't mind, I am going to move. Jerry, you say they've gotten so big. They really have. They really, really have. Although I did see them about a few days ago, but there were no adults around, and then I drove straight through. Look at this. This is like in school when you get pulled by the ear for being naughty. What I was saying is that the path on this den is, for me, too close to the den entrance.
Track of a line saw the fabric.
Oh. They heard Steve's voice and they're like, what was that? That was Steve, guys. Oh, brother to the rescue. I think she might be chasing them in. Let's see. Oh. You guys are excited that I'm here and I get to spend time with them? So am I. So am I. Haven't seen them or haven't gotten to spend time with them in far too long. Do you know, as they get older, as more things happen on Juba, there's more kills and things like that. Adults are around less often. Oh, we've got some anal pasting. Good morning, anal pasting. The adults may come to the den less often when they're older. They'll also come to the den less often if there are kills around that they're going to eat at, the adults. And I think we've just had a week of Nkahuma kills. There was definitely a kill somewhere yesterday with the hyenas with bloody faces. There was Tingana's kill. And that would have kept them away from the den. Apart from that, it's been really cold in the morning and the cubs would not be out. And today, because of the cloudiness, there's a bit of insulation and we don't have that biting chill. They're doing very casual walk-bys here. I don't want to be on camera. No. I'm just walking behind the news presenter. So what I was saying to you is I would like to move back. This is the normal position that, in fact, people sometimes park even further ahead. But I think it's a bit too close. Not for safety, but for disturbance at the den. I feel like it's a bit too close. So I'm going to reverse a little bit and get us into a more comfortable position for the hyenas and us, and I'm going to send you over to a riverbed in the meantime.
So fantastic. We're starting our morning off with hyena cubs already. That's really cool. We are down in the river taking a cruise. It's much smaller than the river that we usually drive down, but we're going to get to the confluence shortly. And one of the reasons why we decided to come down into this area is Owen and Nikki yesterday were trying to look for a carcass that was found by our tracking team. And it was an impala carcass that was underneath a tree, but by the sounds of things it wasn't hoisted yet. And so we went to the last position where Nikki and Owen went to go and check last night. We couldn't find the carcass, and so we've decided to come back and try on the river side of it. And we in the area where, I mean, it would definitely have been a leopard that caught that carcass. We're just trying to figure out exactly who it might be and if they've still got it, where they might have taken it towards. And so the best place to check is the riverbed, because we can scan into the thickets, we can look up the trees. It just gives us the best view of the area. I actually just want to show you quickly the root system of this tree. I think it is absolutely, just look at how it's been growing. It goes up, the patterns are just insane. And this is a tree called a scotia or a weeping boerbean. And it was obviously here before the bank started eroding away. And so all of that usually is underground. And I think it's quite amazing that it's still standing. And unfortunately, if it still keeps eroding, it will eventually fall down. But I think it's, I mean, there's those nice little nooks and crannies that if a leopardess was hiding her cubs in a little spot like that would be very cool. Yeah, so whilst we get to the confluence looking for this leopard, apparently Trish has managed to position and is showing the hyenas nicely. So let's go and see what they're up to this morning.
Well, I've positioned in a more comfortable way for the cubs, so they can walk straight through to Mum and back and see Mum and Big Sister. And I think that this darker cub, Shimbulu, as he was named, I think his face looks a little like a civet. Dalso, you'd like to know how would the hyenas rank if they all have the same mother? Well, the clan is large. It's just Ribbon that is using this, well, Ribbon and Corky that's using this den. So these two belong to Ribbon plus Intima. The ranking works like this. Females are always ranked above males, but the youngest female is highest ranked. So if there was a female amongst these two, then it would outrank Intima. But because they're both males, Intima still holds her rank. So these guys will actually have to, at some point, decide whether they want to stay in the clan or the comfy and have or hold this comfy position of mum being matriarch, which is lovely for your own, comfort, but you are not able to mate because clan females won't mate with clan males or males born into the clan. It's only immigrant males that they will mate with. And now they're behind the bush. They will come back. It's only immigrant males that they will mate with. So the males need to disperse in order to mate. So they'll need to choose between their comfy rank now and the ability to actually mate. And when they go to another clan, they'll be right at the bottom, because they're males and their mother is not matriarch. So they'll start way back at the bottom. Oh, there they come. But it means that they have the ability to mate, which is the most important thing. Their genes are able to get pushed forward. Oh, Luke. We should call one of the cubs Jean Clan Dam. Well, you know what, Luke? I think that if I ever have a game reserve and there's a clan of hyenas in my game reserve, which of course there would be if I had a game reserve. In fact, it would just be a game reserve just around the hyenas territory. I will name that clan Jean Van Clan. Jean. Gosh, now I can't even say it. Jean Claude Clan Dam. Did I get it right? There we go. Jean Claude Clan Dam. So hard not to say Van. Don't you just love this common spike thorn that's in the way? I actually do love it. I love common spike thorns. I think they're beautiful. They always have lichen on them as well. No, I'm not going to say that joke. I'm holding myself back. Theo, you have a visitor coming from a different end. Someone's gone exploring. Hello, welcome. Hello. I've moved further away from the den, but still they come. It's important for them to learn about what the vehicle is and all of that, and it's important for their noses. Oh, there you are. It's important for their noses so they can smell these things. Smell what humans smell like. Smell what things with human smells on it is like. And that's very, very important. But in the same way, you don't want them to become so comfortable that they lose their feeling of defense and wanting to protect themselves because they think, oh, this is a familiar smell. The humans that come and sit here, they don't hurt me. That's something you don't want, because if they come up against humans that do want to hurt them, they need to be able to recognize that and smell that. That's why the smells are very important, but it's also important for us to stay a little bit away and not kind of encourage them. That's why when they do come for the tires and things like that, especially if we can see them, then we'll try very gently to say, no, oh, no, no. It smells a little like wet dog here. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. I'm sorry that we're a little bit further away, but I think it is better for them, and I'm sure that you would agree. I am going to sit tight, obviously, watch what else this little family has going on for the morning.
Wild Earth relies on support from viewers like you to carry on broadcasting our daily live shows. A small donation goes a long way in helping us on our mission to connect the world with nature. Please visit our support page to see how you can help and become part of the Wild Earth family.
Thanks, Joshala. Well, I've just got a comment, everybody. Jean-Claude Van Clan is the funniest hyena name I think I've ever heard. Well done, whoever that was who commented. BK and I nearly fell off the vehicle over here. And well, everybody, we decided once again that seeing as the light that was pushing through the clouds is so majestic, and often termed in Renaissance paintings as the fingers of God, we're going to stop and allow you to enjoy it as well. I would appreciate if everybody would like to send through a one-word tweet about how scenes like that make you feel. If you're not into Renaissance art, that's okay. I went to Florence years ago and saw some of the paintings, and was described by one of the tour guides there about how the way that those tendrils of light filter through the clouds and fall onto buildings is well described as the fingers of God by those early painters, which I think is quite a wonderful, wonderful thing. And most of those paintings are on buildings. See, I mean, not enough words. There's no one-word tweet for that, is there? So right, everybody, one-word tweet's a great way of getting interaction. If you just sit there enjoying with your mouth or jaw dropping open, that's okay. JC Angelic is a great one. A really, really good one, that. What's your word, BK? Majestic, says BK. Raymond is on the back with me. Raymond, do you have a word? What does that make you feel like? One word.
Nice one.
Nice one, says Raymond. Oh, I'm thinking it's just, that's gorgeous. I suppose that's a very well used word, but it'll work. So, Emma Openshaw, who's directing, is the millennial, and she said And those of you out there who won't have a clue what I'm about to say, I'm not really sure I'm going to be able to explain it to you, but she said the word lit, which is spelled L-I-T, and I still don't really know what it means. I've had some millennial friends try and explain it to me, but I think it basically means very cool in a way, or like top-notch, or really no way to explain it, but it does kind of work quite well with the light. Well done, Emma. Linda Magical, that is a good one. Well, everybody, we're going to move on from our wonderful sunrise. The sun has risen and is fading down into the ground. And that track of that lioness that we thought was a few days old actually appears to be from last night. And so we followed it. It's gone its little gowrie. So we're just going to keep checking our southern boundary, see if anyone's come back in. You never know what we might find.
How's it, like this? Yeah. Better. Okay. Welcome back, everyone. As you can see, we just come across on quite a nice elephant bull. He's just chilling out, just browsing out up on the bushes there. As you can see now, he's just getting mobile again. Wow, lovely to see his bum. The way he's walking now, you can see he's going straight towards the nice fever trees area. Look at the way he's walking. Lovely the way he's moved. He has one tusk broken from a fight. Quite a nice big boy. It's a lovely area where he is, because a lot of food for himself to feed on it. Look at it. I like the way he's walking. He's just gently, silent move. Look through to these fever trees as well. The way he moved. That's awesome. I like the way if you look at his background there by the mountains, this is a lovely area. Yeah, it does have a long tail. Awesome area. Looks like it's moving direct towards these fever trees. Awesome there. He just cut off from the road, just going straight towards his favorite. Amazing this where he's going through. MJ, yeah, this is a lovely area, MJ. Yeah. Well, guys, we'll just carry on with our plan. We still want to try and find our cheetah. Whatever comes, like say never for anything comes in the wild. We take it what it comes.
So all four were standing there, just wonderfully, and then Emma said, live, and then they all scattered. So there's another hyena that's approaching the den. Ruben and Tima have just gone toward it, and the cubs have gone into the den. So let's just wait a little bit and see what happens. Also, I must tell you that when I was talking about the rank, I was thinking about the matriarchy. So the the two cubs being younger will outrank Intima at the moment. But when they are older, Intima will outrank them because she's female. But currently, because they are the youngest set of cubs, regardless of sex, they will outrank Intima. But in terms of matriarchy, Intima would be the one who is next in line. I was thinking about that earlier, and I was thinking about how these cubs interacting, and I was like, no, why did I explain it like that? And everything's silent now. Let's just sit for a little bit, because I know that they are on the other side of the mound, just through that bush. Hopefully it was Corky that had come. Ray, you say there's just too much to learn with hyenas. There is a lot to learn with hyenas. They're incredible creatures with such intelligence. Really very, very, very intelligent. That was short and sweet. I think let's pull back a little bit and wait a little further back. So I hope it's Corky. I hope it was Corky, but it could have been someone else. Maybe it's a danger to the hyenas, so to the cubs. So let's move back a little bit and wait to Demon at Pinda.
We are actually just about to leave the riverbed, and this is much bigger than the one that we last left you in. So we're in the Timbavati at the moment. See, it's like maybe 4 or 5 times wider, and we stopped probably for about close to 10 minutes where we thought that carcass was left sometime yesterday. We listened, we scanned with our binoculars, and we just couldn't find anything. So we haven't really got any direction of tracks. It might be quite difficult for us to figure out where that leopard would have moved to after the kill was stolen, which we suspect. But a nice exciting thing is, whilst we were listening for anything around that area, we did hear lions calling quite far away from us, so southwest in the direction that I'm facing now. And that's pretty much exactly where that lioness with her 2 cubs was yesterday morning. And so I'm thinking that maybe what could have happened is she might have reintroduced the cubs towards the pride last night. And so we're heading in that direction now. And hopefully, you never know, maybe we find something cool. Imagine seeing the lioness with the 2 cubs being reunited with the pride again. So it will be nice to get into that area relatively quickly. So I'm going to just keep a nice constant pace and just get into that area as quick as we can. I just caught a whiff of something, that's why I quickly turned around. But I think it was hyena dung on the ground. So it does look, I mean, from when we first saw you this morning, it does look like the clouds are starting to disperse. So Jenny, it is looking very green, and it's because we're very close to the water. And what helps it look green, I think, Jenny, are these little plants like this. So this is a plant called a spike thorn, and they keep their green leaves throughout the whole year. And because there's lots of water down by the river, lots of these green plants, these evergreen plants, grow. And so it looks very, very green. I mean, if you look at the grass around us where we're driving, it's all completely golden, full on in the winter colors. And so you'll see as we start, it'll be interesting. I mean, in the next 20-30 minutes, as we start moving away from the river, you'll see that dramatic change again from almost no green leaves to all of the winter, all of the leaves dropping from the trees in the winter time. We were saying it's only in the last maybe week and a half or so where it's really truly felt like it's properly in the winter time at the moment. We've been building up to this moment for the last month or two, and now it feels like winter. I don't know what it is, it just feels like the winter has finally arrived. So as we're driving in towards these dense areas, we'll get towards a nice open clearing, and I think that might be a good opportunity for Owen and I to just switch off, listen, and maybe see if that lion is calling again before we carry on.
Well, good luck, Eric, in finding your animals. We haven't managed to locate anything from tracks this morning, but we just popped our nose into Chitwa real quickly, everybody. We're here at Chitwa Watering Hole, and well, we just couldn't help but just stop for a moment. There hasn't really been much of a cloud in the sky for the last few weeks, and there's been a little bit of a front predicted. I could see it pulling in yesterday from the distance, and it always pulls in some cloud. Beauty of light, cloud and water, coupled with the amazing sounds of birds in the morning, it's making this quite a scenic drive. But on entering Chitwa, we didn't see any animals, not even a hippo. Probably out grazing still because it's quite nice and overcast. And BK was getting a little bit of a spider sense in his tummy that we should go and check the airstrip. So we're going to cross over from this watering hole up to the airstrip and have a little look around. It's important to trust these gut feelings sometimes. Often I get them left or right here, and you're like, right, and then what happens? You find hukumuri lying in the road, or pick up on the exact tracks you're looking for. There is an enormous amount of luck out here as Eric is trying to find animals. Sometimes it's really easy, sometimes it's very lucky, and sometimes it requires an enormous amount of skill. Combining all of those together, some days are just incredible, and some days, well, you've just got to stop and enjoy the scenery. Hello, Fiona. You're a new viewer. Fiona, well, you've done exactly what you needed to do with asking a question. You've asked one. So whatever you did before, Fiona, you've asked it. Hashtag Wild Earth on Twitter, or type in @FC on the YouTube chat stream if you're following the program there. Or you can throw it in on the Twitch platform @FC, if that is your preferred medium. Hippos thought that was quite funny, Fiona, that you asked us how to ask a question. They were like, of course, you just throw it in on the YouTube chat stream. They know how to ask questions, don't they, BK? Wonderful to have you on board, Fiona. I hope you're enjoying the show. And keep your questions and comments coming. And Emma just whispered on my ear that hippos do have a great sense of humor. Well, when you look like a hippo does, I suppose having a sense of humor is all you've got going for you, right? Shame, poor fellows. We had them all out the water yesterday. Definitely not the most sightly of creatures, covered in scars, birds feeding off of them at leisure. Quite a different scene this morning. These watering holes are really quite magical. You never know what you might find. And obviously, while we lock you off on a really nice scene like that, I sit here with my binoculars trying to scan for any birds. Trishal is also sitting still in one place, I think. I think she's still with the hyenas.
I am not. Both Intima and Ribbon have run off. They ran off in this direction, so I had to look through the block for them, and they are gone from the block. So, of course, we have to leave the den. For any of the new viewers that don't know, when an adult is not around, we can't be at the den. We just cannot offer the same kind of protection that a hyena can, for obvious reasons. But they did run off towards Treehouse Dam, so I wondered if perhaps the other hyena was saying, "Hey, there's a kill nearby. Come on, let's go and chow." But I don't see any clues just yet. Kelly, you'd like to know how far the cubs would wander from the den without an adult around. I've been to the den before when they're out and there isn't an adult around, and that's when I tell you guys, oh, I went through and there was cubs are out, but the adults weren't there, and they don't go far at all. They kind of stay at the base of the mound, and they won't. Oh, this is a lovely reflection. It's a bit murky, but it's a beautiful reflection in the water. So they'll just kind of stay around the bare bits of the mound. I haven't seen them come into the grass. Maybe they do when they think that mum is really, really not around and they want to explore. But they're still new. And though they may be very brave when their mum is around, when she's not, they can feel very vulnerable. As do most little mammals. Oh, the gorgeous reflection. Yay, one of my favorites. Just on that corner, there's a grey go-away bird having a drink. It's so difficult to see. Further up, further up. It's so well camouflaged. There we go. Yes, very tasty. I love watching them at the water's edge. I think they're such gorgeous birds. And with a name like grey go-away bird, it's not particularly a nice name. But it is what it is. C'est la vie. It used to be called a grey lory, which, in my opinion, was a nice name for them. I am king of the grey, it says, as it sits atop. Oh, we're a little bit cold. Them very much. Well, nothing else seems to be going on. Lorraine, you'd like to know why they're called go-away birds? I would think because of their call. Sometimes they sound like ah. Sometimes it's wah, wah, like go away. It likes this description. They're such pretty birds. Yes, you are. We don't want you to go away. when I first heard of these birds, which was before I'd seen them or heard their call, I thought it was because people wanted them to go away. This is very innocent, and I was much younger. I thought it was because they wanted people wanted them to go away. But no, their call sounds like they're saying, "Growl." I also like that one where it goes, which is a bit weird. No, Emma, I'm not going to do it again for you. Who else is drinking? Listed Little Crested Franklin. Where are you? You're also difficult to see. There it is. Came down to the local watering hole for a bit of a drink. Go, 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 go. See, this could be a go-away bird too. Anyway, off it goes, and off I send you to Doomy, who is on the move.
Welcome back, everyone. As you can see, we're still up on this beautiful, beautiful area, searching the cheetah. So far, we haven't come across any luck here yet, but hopefully we'll come across something. Anything comes, we're checking. Even the line tracks, will do it. If we find some tracks, we're just looking if there's any tracks in this area. So far, so good. No sign of anything. But we coming back to the area where we lost the cheetah with 3 last night. So we're very close to the area. That's why we keep on checking now. As you can see, we're slowly checking. Sometimes we stop and scan in this open area. As you can see, how beautiful up here. So far, so good. No luck yet. It's a lovely, looks like further east is starts to rain, but luckily here I didn't get that right. This can animals want to look and see color? Well, trust, I can say yes, because most people, they say the animals, they're colorblind, but the reason why I'm saying yes, because we're using these kind of color of vehicles. If we have someone driving different car, they completely change the behavior. That's why I realized they can see the different color. Even the sound of the engine, the animals, they can use that. Trust. Good. Yeah, this is what's interesting actually. So that's lovely up here. We're hoping to see some tracks, but only thing we saw a lot of like an old tracks of was an old leopard tracks back there. Oh, what is this? This like some porcupine tracks, but difficult to see for you guys. I just saw on the side of the car. So a lot of porcupine tracks have been here already overnight. So we're hoping to see these tracks of the cheetah. Then if we can start following. Yeah, so we'll keep on searching. till we find them.
I wish Dumi good luck. It's always awesome to spend time with the cheetah family, so hopefully we're in for some exciting times this morning. You can see we've stopped and we've come to one of these open areas where we think that we heard those lions calling a little bit earlier. And so we've literally just got here. So we've stopped for the last minute or so. And we just want to listen to see if maybe it's getting quite later. It's 7:30. And if these lions were moving throughout the night, they could be looking for a place to settle down. But if we're lucky, maybe we hear one of them calling one last time. Maybe if it's the males that have separated from the pride and they're looking to find the rest of the pride, or it could be the female with the youngsters, maybe trying to find the rest of the pride. So we've just spent some time listening here, and I think we might do this in stages. So we might just move forward, stop, listen. If we don't find any tracks, then we might try one or two different areas. So you can see, I mean, around us, it looks like the clouds are slowly but surely starting to separate and move away from one another. And so I would imagine that by this afternoon, we'll probably have a clear blue sky. It might not even be as late as this afternoon. It might be a little bit earlier than that. But I think because we've spent a few minutes here, we haven't heard anything, it might be worth us just creeping a little bit forward. And we might only go 200 or 300 meters at a time. But whilst we do so, I'm just going to drive, and we can hopefully, I mean, if we don't hear them because of the engine, maybe we see tracks on the ground that give us some sort of indication of where they were. So with Nikki last night, they were almost straight ahead of us, and so that is probably about 2.5 to 3 kilometers away from us. And so I think that this is a good area for us to start moving around, because these lions have been walking huge distances at night time. Within these open areas, we'll see there's a wildebeest coming up, and lots of these different species decide to come and rest up in the evening time. Because of it, it's nice and open, so they get to see predators coming from afar. And so these lions could be coming into this area to try and find something to hunt. And this lone wildebeest is all by himself, actually. Yeah. He doesn't look too disturbed or too alarmed at all. And he's just watching us at the moment. And this could have even been the space that he decided to rest up last night. And if you look just to the left of him on the ground, there's a little hollow patch that's got no grass growing and lots of dung. And so this is probably one of the spots that this wildebeest marks his territory. And he actually might be doing it. Let's see. No. I thought he might walk up to the tree and rub his face up against the bush. It's a way of marking his territory. There we go. He's marking his territory in a different way now. So now he's got a gland in between his hooves that he's using. That's really cool. And so that's a way of getting his scent onto the ground. And see how he's rubbing his face all over the ground over there. And I'm sure the nice sand is quite pleasant on the skin. Might just help with like some sort of exfoliation. I'm just going to move to get this plant out of the way for a second, and then we can go back to the wildebeest. If you can hear that in the distance, there's some zebras that are calling. But it seems more like a stallion barking than alarm calling. Now, Conrad, with this wildebeest and the behavior that we've been watching, he's scraping around and rolling, and he's scent marking. And the reason why he's scent marking is because this is his territory. And so these wildebeest are territorial throughout the whole year. which means that there's a big spot that he's looking to protect. And although there's no females around, because it's a pretty good area, it's a good area to hold territory for the remainder of the year, even if the females aren't here. There's another way, so that's him scratching up against the branch. And so essentially he'll just keep patrolling and make sure that this territory is his own. There's no other males that will come in and try and chase him away, because he knows that from time to time there'll be lots of females that come into his territory. And so he's happy to be by himself to wait for that. And on the odd occasion, if there's no other wildebeest around, you might find a wildebeest like this will latch onto herds of other animals. So we heard those zebras calling in the background. He might join them. We often see lone wildebeest bulls with a huge herd of impala. And I think it's just to increase the chances of spotting something. You can imagine by himself now, he has to focus a lot more on all of the movements around him. And so I think that's why, he's quite alert this morning. Whereas if he was in a big herd of impalas, there's potentially up to 100 different pairs of eyes and ears that are looking around for potential danger. And so he's scent marking now. He would have settled down here. I think the way that he's walking is he's walking towards a nice big water hole, which is maybe another kilometer or two. So you might go have a drink and then you'll come back into this area. So I'm satisfied with us sitting and listening with no sounds of those lions yet. So I'm going to creep on forward and send you back to Tswalu.
That is the best way for me going about the bush, stopping every now and then and having a listen. Like those crested francolin. Or those Natal spurfowl actually shouting. Here we have a leopard orchid and a dead leadwood. I must share with you that when I was telling Theo about a leadwood at one point, and then later on he asked me, which is that tree you're talking about, the deadwood? And I thought, actually, that's a good way of remembering it, because these trees stand for about 100 years after they've died. That's a good way of remembering it. The deadwood, leadwood. Here we have a gorgeous leopard orchid. They're quite nice because in the winter that's when they're flowering. So when everything else seems quite dead and dry, the leopard orchid is there to catch your eye. Oh, look at that. Can you tell I'm having a good morning? I think seeing the cubs was just really, really nice. I've seen them, as I said, but not gotten to share it with you. Very, very pretty. I'm just looking around for maybe another tree to do with you guys. Oh, since you obviously know that that's a leadwood with a leopard orchid in it. Megan, you say it's amazing how they just grow there. We call that epiphytic. So they just need somewhere to anchor onto. And that leadwood provides a perfect, nice, solid structure. Orchids have the smallest seeds from all plants. Tiny, 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 and very numerous. They almost look like dust. I'm also listening. Don't hear anything just yet. Now I'm going to have to find one of the trees that we don't see too often, and we can have a bit of a tree quiz. hearing some eddies. Did you hear that? I heard a fish eagle. It went again. Oh, that's so cool. Sometimes there's one that hangs around, obviously close enough to the camp because I hear it in the mornings, which is just really nice. Alright, let's head out. Move a little bit more. Find you some elephants. Although they sound a little bit far. Or a nice tree that we are not so familiar with. Ooh, Raymond has popped into the driver's seat, so let's go over and say hello.
Welcome back to, we are at Chita, at the Chita Dam, where there is lots of people right over here. So we've been trying to move that side to the airstrip. We find the footprint of a male leopard. Unfortunately, we missed it. We also heard a little bit of sound somewhere a little bit far, but not really close to us, because this area is a little bit, we are very close to the boundary. So I think maybe even that leopard crossed through to the other boundary. So right over here we have got some hippos, which are very, very relaxed. It is evening for them because they need to sleep for a while. Maybe this afternoon when the sun comes out, they will come out from the water. They spend more time during the night by going out looking for a food, because they are eating the... Yes, Katie, there are some crocodiles, but I haven't seen the big one since I've been here. I only see almost about 2 meters, the longest which I ever see. So, because sometimes the crocodile can be land until up to 6 meters long. So, right over here, it is, I haven't seen the big one. I only saw once. So they are staying together, crocodile and hippo, in the same dam or same river. There could be. It is happened. So those hippos, later on in afternoon, they might come out from the water as their skin needs water. Can spend more hours outside in the evening or at night, but less hours in the water. So I just want to demonstrate something right over here. You can see me? Okay. Right over here, as the hippo are going outside, they're using one path. As long time ago, they were saying that the hippo are the most dangerous animal in Africa. So if they're going, they're using one path to go out and one path to get in. So sometimes if you are on this side while it's coming from that side, it can't let you to or running towards this side or towards this side. You want to come straight over there. So that's why where the people will get caught about the hippos. So right over here, as you see, it is a part of their territory. This is the grass. The hippo, when they're making their territory, they're using tail to split their tongue When it's pooping, it's mixing with the urine to make a smelling. So as the alpha is the one who's doing this one, the other one, if he wants to challenge him, will come over here and do the same. Therefore, they will meet and fight. So the winner will try by all means, if he can manage to get that tail. If he's getting that tail, you need to cut that tail off. Once you cut the tail off, I believe that now that hippo will be becoming a female, because it doesn't have a tail, it won't manage to challenge him again. So this is the hippo territory. So we'll like yes, Jonah, they won't fight for territory because they are not eating the same species. They're just only staying in the same area. So the hippo are only eating grass, as you see. This is the dung of a hippo. So a crocodile, it's only eating meat. Doesn't eat anything else. Sometimes can be lucky to get any animal coming to drink the water. So they do eat as well, but mostly they do win on a fish like catfish. It's easy for them to swallow. So if they're getting big, okay, we'll stay a little bit for a while right over here to see if maybe the hippo will come out, pop up a little bit. Welcome back everyone again. We are still searching our cheetah again. So far, no luck yet, but it looks like we're in a good area for them. Like last night we did get a brief video, but it was already getting late. So we're gonna try and search again carefully, because the cheetah with the small cubs, if the cubs are still small, it's a very good chance they must be still lying down into this long grass, because she'll try. So in this area, this is the area we think we might get to see her. So like this nice and cool, she must be still lying down, trying to keep a cub warm. As soon as she realizes a bit more warmer, she will start again hunting. Because normally the cheetah with the small cubs, they'll be still like lying down into this long grass. So that's why we haven't come across any luck yet, even the tracks. Yeah, so keep on looking around, see if we can see anything. So far, no luck yet. Yeah, that's it's one of the good idea. She might be taking something earlier. That's why sometimes we don't see the animals if they in a bush hiding with the kill. Yeah, that's it's one of the reasons why it make it a little bit more difficult to finding them. Even like a leopard or lion, sometimes if they're on a kill far from the road, it makes it very difficult to know, unless you find some tracks, and then you know, you start following the tracks, and then you find the animals. Like now, yeah, still difficult because we haven't seen any tracks yet. As soon as we see some tracks, then we know. Yeah, we'll keep on searching around on the road and see if we can find some tracks. Otherwise, yeah, we'll keep on doing it.
I have just come to check Chile Pan because it was so good to us last time. And we saw that green-winged petilia. But it is very, very quiet this morning. I mean, the water doesn't look great. It's a little murky. It's got some nice layers of gunk on the top of it. But I like to live to visit these little pans because you never know what you're going to find. And sometimes you can just sit and wait, and the little birds would come along, have a drink, which is just very, very nice. I find that the birds, something disturbing. The problem with Franklin's shouting is that they're so unreliable because they fight amongst themselves so much. What I was saying is these smaller pans, I tend to see more birds along the edges having a good drink. So sometimes I like to just sit and wait. But it seems that this time we are not so lucky. But, you know, it can't be every day. I'm just so chuffed by that petilia the other day. Is that Raymond I can hear down south? Did you hear those hippos? It's very strange. It almost sounds like they're in the Mowati. Let's just have a quick look. Oh, hello. Cape Turtle. Lovely turtle dove. Going about your business. You know when birds move their heads like that as they walk? It's not so much their heads bobbing forward as it is the rest of their body flinging forward. So they try to move their head at the last moment. So they put the head first, then the body swings forward. Then they put the head again, and then the body swings forward. So that only in the last moment do they have to move their head. Hyena! Let's go see. Now they will do that, the birds that is, with their head, in order to... Hang on, let me get out of here first. In order to help their vision. So it makes sure that they're... It's kind of like they're making sure that they don't have to constantly be making up for the fact that they're always moving. In fact, birds that were put on a treadmill where their image wasn't changing, but they were still having to move, didn't bob their heads. Now that is a duiker. That is my kind of scientist. Why didn't I think about putting birds in a treadmill? That is the real question. That is the question. Emma asked, do they have sweatbands on their heads? They didn't have sweatbands on their head. It's not a real experiment. Write that, Emma. Why do I feel that's so familiar? I feel like I maybe saw one of the Disney cartoons, a bird with a sweatband on their head. Oh yes, it is very pinky in the brain. That sounds like something I would have seen on Pinky and the Brain. And now the song is stuck in all of your heads. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, let's go check out what's going on in the Mulwati.
Okay, welcome back. We are still at the Cheetah Place. I believe that you're still enjoying our show. So right over here in front of me, we have got a big green tree, which is very, very important through to African people a long time ago. It was a little bit difficult for African people to get some old stuff on modern. So this tree is called a wiping wattle tree. This tree, it is helping the people. If in case you have got something to do in the bush for nature cause, because nature plays its own role. Whatever evenly today, where am I? If the nature plays its own role, I'll have to use this one. This is a bush tissue paper. So once you use this one, you have got an opportunity to throw it away. It is nature to use this one in a bush, but I can't use a tissue paper in a bush because it's have got a color, and that color sometimes becoming white. No matter I can use the pink one, whatever as it is, but it will be white in color. Oh, if you can listen very carefully, I hear the hyena. That's quite a white. Okay, yes. So it was sort of a silence of moment of the listening for those nice sound of hyenas and birds that tell us we are really in a bush. So the wiping wattle tree is provide or protect the littering in a bush. Not to litter, you have to use this one. If you throw it on, it's becoming sort of like a fertilizer, and evenly your produce are becoming fertilizers. So once you use a dish, you need to carry with you, and it smells bad. You won't be comfortable by smelling, because if you leave it over there, some other animals, they like bones to get the calcium. For example, sometimes you can see the giraffes laying down, taking that bone and trying to crunch it in order to get some calcium. So if it is that white, that giraffe, his purpose, it was to get bone and then finally get your tissue, and it will be sick. And once they made a research, find that it is a tissue. Therefore, the person who did that one, yes, Joe, thanks. It is always like that. We do enjoy our nature. So it was sort of like this introduction of this one. We want to move forward as we are trying to find something special. As we heard some hyenas calling that side, it is almost about the time for them to sleep, but they are still active. That tells us there is something. Let's move and see something which is very special if we're lucky. Let's try move on. Okay.
Sorry guys, but you're back in. We're in the Mulwati. There's something very, very quiet about the Mowati today, but in a slightly, not creepy, but in a slightly like maybe something's watching us kind of way. So Drongo going crazy with its calls behind us. Now I'm looking for a good tree to show you. Also, I just want to show you down here because I think that this is a lovely place, and when I was a child I would have loved to play in a spot like this with that dead tree over there. What a gorgeous space. The Mowati has amazing little nooks. They're just so beautiful. There may not be much to say about them, but they have the most beautiful little nooks. One of my favorite ones, see if I can see another one, is when roots of trees are going down an embankment and they start to erode away the sand, and you get these stairs that are made by the roots. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. And we do have it in the Mowati. Wait, I think there's one behind us. They're just pretty, you know, there's nothing to be said about it except that they're beautiful. Not exactly. No, I'm going to find you the right one. That's just a path coming down. But I'm going to find you the right one. I think it's actually further behind us, but I'll do a turn. Sometimes, you know, you just gotta, there's just pretty things. You're gonna appreciate the fact that nature's beautiful, even if it's not an animal or a living thing, but rather a structure. Again, you say that tree looked so cool, didn't it just? The Mowati is very, very nice this morning. It smells so good. There's lots of cool trees, Megan. It's wonderful. Snazzy Zap, you'd like to know if we have mosquitoes that bite animals and if it is an issue out here. It is very much an issue when a mosquito bites any animal. I am not a fan of mosquitoes. They are... You can do it, Wendy. There we go. They like me very much, so I may be biased in my answer to you. Lots of animals get bitten by mosquitoes. But humans get bitten by mosquitoes a lot because they don't have a furry covering to protect them. Now, if you are, just getting a little personal here, if you are hairy on your arms and legs, you will notice that it takes a little bit more effort for mosquitoes to land and then actually be able to be close enough to your skin to penetrate the skin. I have experience of hairy family members from which I have observed this, because I've been an observer of these things from a young age. If they're watching, they probably know who they are as well. So, the fur helps protect animals against mosquitoes, but animals can definitely get bitten. It is not an issue, though. They can also get malaria from an Anopheles mosquito that is infected. But it doesn't present itself in the same way as it does for us. On that note, a bit of news. There are microbes that infect Anopheles mosquitoes. And when they are infected with this microbe, or rather when the microbe is present on them, they're not able to transfer the plasmodium, the malaria plasmodium, which is excellent news, because if more mosquitoes have those microbes, the transmission of malaria will become less and less. So scientists are working towards actually releasing a population of mosquitoes with more of those microbes on them, and then it will go through the population of mosquitoes, the larger population, and that would mean that there will be fewer cases of malaria if all goes well. Mosquitoes are one of the very few animals that, and it may be controversial if I say this, but that if they didn't exist would not be a massive issue. They do provide a food source for birds and dragonflies and other predatory insects. They do pollinate very few flowers, particularly in the northern hemisphere. But for all of those things, they are not the primary source of either pollination or food. So it has been a debate among scientists about the necessity of mosquitoes. But that being said, you will never know the full effects of something until you try to remove it, or you remove it from the population and you realize, oh, all of a sudden levels of this go down in water, standing water bodies, because there's no longer mosquito larvae in it or something like that. You know, you never know what the outcome of that kind of change can be. But I think these microbes on the mosquito will go a long way to help with malaria. You know, malaria disproportionately affects the poorest places in the world, and it's important that we address it.
We're still driving around looking for any sign of those lions. We've actually completely changed direction, and the reason being is that the trackers saw tracks of the pride of lions coming basically south, so towards where we were waiting and listening out for, and then they cut and they turned east, so in the direction that we're going. So we're going to go quite far around and see if we might be able to intercept them or find tracks of where they might have gone to in the meanwhile. And I remember watching a male lion when I was working at Phinda Private Game Reserve, and he was sleeping right next to a water hole in the middle of summer, and it was a very, very hot day, and you could almost see the mosquitoes lifting off of the water in the evening time, and these mosquitoes, almost in like a cloud, moved to that male lion, and within about 5 minutes you just saw the male lion flicking his tail and snapping, and then eventually he got up and he moved away. So mosquitoes, or what I've experienced, they at least certainly irritate lions from time to time. But remember when I said, when we were close towards the riverbed, it was completely green and it looked like it was almost summer, and I said we're moving away from the river, and just look at how different it is, especially here on the right hand side. I mean, all of these trees, most of them are, I mean, there's only about 3 or 4 species here, but most of them have completely lost their leaves. And so this is what it looks like throughout the whole reserve when we're not at the river. So it's all completely changed from 3 or 4 months ago. And it's amazing how we get used to the process of change, because when we go back and look at some of the highlights that we've seen over the course of 4 or 5 months, it is unbelievable how quickly and how different it looks. When we first started, I know that the clip of Sean and the whole pride of lions walking down the road is one that I've seen quite a few times, and it looks like it was a typical summer's day. It was green, 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 everything was nice and long, the grass was lush, and now it's the exact opposite. It's quite amazing. Ethan is asking if lions have ever been affected, or if they are affected by catnip. And I don't think I've ever heard of lions being affected by catnip. It's a very good question. I'll see if there's been records. I'm sure in captivity people might have experimented with catnip in lions before, but it doesn't occur naturally here. So I wouldn't imagine so. The only time that I've ever watched a cat around this area, and it almost reminds me of the whole catnip scenario, is watching leopards when they're moving around. And these leopards, when they're walking on the road and they see something like an old buffalo dung, or maybe some old wildebeest dung, or whatever it will be, will actually walk up to the dung and roll around in it. But I don't think it gives off the exact same reaction that a domestic cat to catnip does. So we're driving through a small little riverbed. Always worth just to slow down and check on either side. Owen was remarking that the animals haven't woken up yet this morning, and so we're still looking for them sleeping underneath the bushes, waiting to start their day. Just gonna quickly go off on a small little detour just down here. It's one of the clearings. Yeah, so we are going to just quickly pop our head around this clearing and have a look to see what's going on. And so far, some pretty relaxed impala. Okay, so that means I'm going to turn around, and whilst I turn around and head back in an easterly direction, let's go and see what Doomie's looking for.
Welcome back, everyone, again. We're still searching in the area. Really found the fresh tracks. Only the old tracks we saw from yesterday. So like we're thinking now to driving a little bit further. Like we had some monkeys, they were lambing further on, but they suddenly stopped now. This is the area we're going to try to stop and listen again further down. I'm not too sure if there was that cheetah or could be a bird, but they didn't lamb too long, just a little bit. Like that one will come across in something. Problem is, if she really make it very difficult for us, because we can't really see if there's no tracks, what we can follow. Yeah, well.
Okay, thank you, guys. I believe that you are enjoying the cheetahs right over here in front of me. We are still in Cheetah Game Reserve right over here. I've got a magic quarry. Sorry for you if I'm bother you by keep on talking about the trees. Those who like trees, they can enjoy it. And those who don't like the trees, sorry, but it is nature at all. So this is a magic quarry. A magic quarry, it's evergreen tree. Each and every time, once it's losing the leaves, it's also gaining the leaves. And as we believe that lots of animals, they like something which is chlorophyll or the green one, which have got lots of moisture. But this one is still surviving. No elephants coming to this one because they have got a lot of tannin, and the their leaves, it's a little bit harder, that it's not easy to chew it. But from what I can chew it. You can hear a little bit crunchy, crunchy, crunchy. As it's crunchy, 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 it also have got that tannin. Now, so this one, it's crunchy, crunchy, and I get that tannin on my mouth. That tannin is also helping the gums for a human being. So long time ago, the African people, as it was difficult for them to get everything on artificial, they were getting anything for natural. So this tree is becoming sort of a teeth brush because of that tannin. You can use it. That's how crunchy it is and how hard it is. If you look it good, what's look like? It's look like a teeth brush. So they're using this one to clean their teeth. By using this one, it's not necessary that you can consult the dentist. Your teeth can stay white and strong. You will die with your 32 teeth if you consulting this one. So it is not necessary to consult a dentist because long time ago it was not dentist at all. So they were using this one. You can see how it's cleaning. So I bet you if you can come with your gray teeth and you come with this one, you consult this one, or your yellow teeth, you consult this one. I give you only a period of 15 minutes. Therefore, your teeth will be coming white, white, white like mine. You can see how it is. It is white as naturally because I'm using everything naturally. So while we are over there, definitely we don't have to pay anything. It is naturally. In nature, you can live more. Like now, if you can back to naturally, you will becoming millionaire in a year because you won't spend lots of money for buying anything. To go for dentist for 30 minutes, you're paying lots of bucks for less than 30 minutes. But for this one, I don't pay even a foreign. So as from now, we will move on towards the first look, if you can see. Okay, we're moving towards the first look.
Well, I'm so glad that Raymond managed to brush his teeth, have a snack, all from the bush in the morning. Awesome way to start the morning. Now I have for you a tree for Tree Shala Thursdays. Yes, that is a new thing, everyone, that we just put a name to today. But this is a tree. It is one that we don't see very often on Juma. The leaves are in little tufts. Sometimes they're a little serrated, sometimes they're a little smooth. And this tree does have fruit. The bark is also very smooth at certain bits and then rough at other bits. So a lot of rough and smooth in terms of leaf margin and In terms of bark, you can see a little of the bark through there, quite pale bark. And if you know the name of this tree, hashtag Wild Earth or YouTube chat stream, let me know what you think it is. Many animals do like the fruit. Top notch, you say, is it a type of fruit tree? Yes, this tree does bear fruits. Baboons do like this tree. Humans have made alcohol from the fruits of this tree. Beans, ooh, a jackleberry, no. This one doesn't grow that big. This one tends to grow up, and then the kind of outside or the center trunk grows up just a little bit, not too high up, and then the other branches kind of fall, or droop rather. It's not very dense. Tiger cub, you say a torchwood? Not a torchwood. Trust me, we will see those trees as well when we go through our... What did we call it again? Tree Charlotte Thursdays or Tuesdays. Ooh, some of you are wondering if I can brush my teeth with this one. I can't, but the bark does look very similar to one that we can brush our teeth with, that you just saw with Raymond. It's a tough one. Like I said, we don't see it often on the property. There's only about 3 that I know of on the property.
Hello stations, we found an ingwe on Mumba Road and it's heading south.
Ooh. Thanks so much. I'm actually in the Mulwati. I'd love to join you. Right, a leopard was found in Mumba Road, which is just here. So let's head out. I'll continue to take your suggestions. It is not a marula. The second part of the name. Okay. The second part of the name is related to the fruit that it has.
Yes, that's just cruise carrier and
I'm going to say Eric.
So viewers, if I have any word of advice, when in doubt, just say it's a jackleberry. You can see now we are driving on what used to be quite a prominent road, which has now become very overgrown because it leads straight towards a pan, a very seasonal pan that has no water at the moment. But the reason why we're heading in that direction is because we've managed to find the nice pride of lions. So we're heading straight there. It might take us another minute or 2 to get there. So they've walked in a pretty much straight across the reserve, and we're now in the eastern part of the reserve at the moment. So I'm dying to see what's happened to the pride over the last 12 hours. It'll be interesting to see if that female has brought her cubs to meet with the pride again. Just making sure I don't lose Owen in the process as I drive through this thick patch. It does open up quite nicely, so I'm hoping that they're lying out in the open. Nancy, every tree along the riverbed has to be a jackalberry or an apple leaf, one of the two, or a tambuati. Okay, so we're coming out into the clearings. It's time to be serious, Owen. Look for lions, please. You can see it's starting to open up. We're right on the bank of the river. All we need to do now is spot the lions, and they might be lying down, I'm sure. I'm hoping they could be looking down into the river. It'll be quite picturesque. Maybe one or two of the cubs have got their heads up as we approach, just to see who and what we are. Okay, so a couple of those big trees up ahead is what we use as a landmark, and so we're very, very close by here now. Okay, I can see the vehicle. Hey, and Owen's just spotted the lions. There we go. So if you see that vehicle, that's Ernie and Rich. The trackers that are out, I'll ask them. They're very camera shy, but maybe they'll give us a wave. There you go. What Owen's done... Oh, here we go. Here are the lions. They're on the opposite side to what I thought. Owen said that he's put bacon on the underside of the car, so that's what attracted the lions, not the catnip. But here we have it. It looks like a few of the cubs have got their heads up. I can see, oh, there are actually quite a few of them. It looks like it's the majority of the pride here. You can see a couple of them lying flat. So they've settled in for the day already. But no tiny, tiny little lions that I can see yet. And see, there you go. That's one of the white cubs. So the male. I can't see the other one, unfortunately. So she hasn't found her way back. Their stomachs are looking nice and full, so they seem to be looking good. Let's see if we can get a count of them here. So that's 2 on the left there, 3, 4 just behind them, 5, 6 in the foreground, 7, 8 behind them, 9. So there should be 11 in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can only see 10 at the most, but I'm sure, I mean, a lot of them are lying in some very long grass, so there could be 2 very close together, and I haven't seen them yet. It's nice to see that a couple of them have got their heads up and are looking around, and I don't think it'll be for too much longer before they put their head down and settle in. Big yawn. So Fana fan, I'm glad that you're excited that we are seeing lions this morning. Me too. It's nice. It took us a while to find them, but you can finally say good morning to them. And see how full that belly is, especially that one lying down with its leg up. And so I wonder if they managed to catch something last night. They might have. It's amazing. They've walked from one waterhole where you had them with Nikki, and they went straight past this area. And basically in a straight line once their tracks started coming in this direction. And I wonder, I mean, maybe they were expecting to find water here. The females will know this waterhole very, very well, especially last season. They would come frequent this small little pan quite a lot. And I wonder if maybe they decide to move towards one of the big waterholes slightly further away from here, slightly north of us. And that might be their next direction. I find it incredible how these cubs are keeping up with the pride, and so they're basically walking around like adults. I suppose they're at the age where we should be starting to call them sub-adults rather than cubs, because they're over a year old, but they are keeping up with the pride, and so the big lionesses aren't moving or aren't slowing down at all. They're just following around, moving where they need to if they're looking for something to hunt, and these cubs, or the sub-adults now at least, are just following and sticking with the remainder of the pride. Yeah, quite large bellies for sure. And so, I mean, if they did catch something last night, it must have been something quite big for all of these lions to be able to eat a decent fair share. I wonder where this one's going. So I mentioned we're very close to the river. Maybe she's just got table manners. And so she's moved away from the pride to go do her business. But it's quite cool because she was rustling in the grass. We've got quite a nice reaction from the rest of the pride, and there's a few of them that are up and watching her. So that young white male has just picked up his head. And he's looking good. I mean, we were very worried about him at a stage because he seems like he had quite a big injury. But, I mean, these animals are so tough. And he seems to be perfectly fine, especially with a big full belly. And then the little lioness to the left. So been very good question with regards to that young white lion who's missing from the pride. And the one lion that we have in frame is her sister. And, they've been separated now for, this is the third day, which is worrying, especially for a lion this small. And the way that they'll find each other is she wouldn't be calling, because she would attract unwanted attention, but she might be able to hear the pride calling and move in that direction. And the fascinating thing is that this has happened before in her life with the young white female. She got separated from the pride for about 3 days when she was only about 6 months old. And okay, yeah, so I am going to finish the story a little bit later about this female, but there is a leopard on Djuma, so let's quickly go and have a look at it before it disappears.
Yes, we have managed to make it in here, which is very, very thick, and as you can see, the view that we have of our gorgeous queen, it is Thandi. It's quite obscured, but that is good enough for us. She's on Mamba, right near Mamba Loop. Station coming to join Thandi, you want to go all the way up Mamba towards the end of Mamba Loop, where Mamba Loop finishes, and towards that junction you'll see our vehicle. At least she's lying down for us now. She could call for a cub, which is awesome. She used to actually keep the cub in this drainage. It's by Mamba Loop. And that would be a first for me. I haven't seen Tandi's cub. Vic, you say I found the opening to Tandi's portal? Perhaps it is. This is where she goes and travels to different time periods, different dimensions. That's why she doesn't leave tracks when she travels sometimes. Because she's gone. I'm quite happy at the position we're in at the moment, though, because she is quite protected from the bushes around her. Perhaps she'll feel comfortable enough to call out the cub if the cub is here in this drainage. Shani, you asked if it was a fig tree that we had earlier on while we wait for Tandi to call her cub. It was not. What I was saying to you is that the second part of the name for that tree is a fruit that we all eat quite often. And the first part of the name for that tree is something you'd put on when you're feeling cold. That should have given it away. The fruits are nice and red. Oh, you go, Jamie. You say a jacket plum. It is a jacket plum. Pipea capensis, excuse me. A jacket plum. It's a tough one. I'm sorry I started off with the toughies. Gorgeous, juicy fruit that baboons love it. Barbets, starlings, all get tucked into it. Tracks for Tandi and cub have been all over the place. And it's amazing how we'll find tracks for her at one spot, like in the east, and then all of a sudden, she's down here, not far from where we were doing our tree quiz, just a little further east. Awesome. Well, of course we're going to sit with her and see what happens, see if she manages to call out her cub, but I'm going to send you over to Raymond in the meantime.
Okay, thanks very much to be welcome back again to me. Right over here, I just got a fresh elephant track. So this elephant, it was mobiling this side. So I want to just a little bit explanation about the size and as well as the gender for them if it is a chance. Okay. So right over here, you can see from here to here, it's sort of like this, a footprint for that elephant. So this footprint of the elephant is easy to identify where it was. It's almost like a human being. When you walk, you kick forward. So here is the kick for this elephant that is going forward. And if you look at the back, it's where it's have got a grip on it. So it's easy to identify evenly how big is the elephant on its footprint. If you look like this, it's a 1/3 of centimeter. That means the elephant footprint is starting right from here and then end up over here. That's, I have to subtract out of 1/3 on this one. So I will know how old it is, this elephant. That means you can see how it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is almost about 10. Wow. So to see the agenda for the elephant, for this one, because it's still young, it's not that much big, it's not that much old, it's a little bit difficult. But for the old one, the male one at the back, about 10 centimeters, that's this side, doesn't have that much plenty of this stripe. It's a little bit sort of like a thumb, and then this side it's more active, and you find that it can be huge like this because it will be all over. That elephant is too big. So now I heard the audio for them this side. I think let's try to quickly relocate. Maybe we can find them. Okay, let's move on to see if we will be lucky to find them still very close. I just hear them, the audio right over here.
Wild Earth relies on support from viewers like you to carry on broadcasting our daily live shows. A small donation goes a long way in helping us on our mission to connect the world with nature. Please visit our support page to see how you can help and become part of the Wild Earth family.
Good luck, Raymond. I'm sure it seems like all of these animals are starting to wake up now, so I'm sure we'll have better luck. We are back on the sister of the white lion that's missing from the pride. And just before we got very rudely interrupted by a leopard, I was just about to tell you the story when this white lion female got separated from the pride when she was about 6 months old. So this was around maybe about 7 or 8 months ago. But essentially she got separated, and I think that the easiest thing to do is, whilst they're sleeping, not doing much, I'll show you just quickly on the map, just to show, because it was quite an amazing feat of survival on her part. And so we basically saw the pride going in this direction here, so in a westerly direction, and they went in there for about 2 or 3 days. We actually didn't see them. And one evening, one of the rangers was driving back up this way and spotted the white lion cub all by herself on a termite mound. And this area in particular is very, very risky because there's such a high density of hyenas here. And so he saw her in the evening, left, I think, about an hour before sunrise and raced back down this area to see if he could find her again. Went looking for her the whole drive and couldn't find her. So we immediately thought the worst. We started driving back towards to look for the pride in the last couple of days. I think it was 3 days later. Then eventually on our way home we saw the whole pride crossing in this direction. And so from here to here is around about 8 kilometers as the crow flies. And we saw the females crossing first, and then the cubs crossed the road one by one. And at the very, very end of the pride was the young female white lion. And so she had survived for 4 days by herself, and she had managed to cover a distance of at least 8 kilometers, probably even more. And she managed to find her way back into the pride. And so now it's basically the complete reverse. We last saw her somewhere here. The pride has come back into Ngala from this side without the cub, and so she might be somewhere to the west of us by herself, or maybe even with the young male lion who isn't with the pride. And so we'll give it another week, I would say, before we start worrying seriously about it. And you never know, maybe we might be able to find her again. We are currently here at the moment. And so, I mean, it's a very, very long way. But now that she's older, maybe slightly more experienced, there's a chance that she could find her way back towards the pride. So no need to panic yet. We'll give it another couple of days and see. This is one of the lionesses, or the young sub-adults that got up and went to the loo, and she's settled down here. Annette, it was a very happy ending, and we were also relieved to see that she had managed to find her way back towards the pride. It would be really cool if that whole scenario happens again. Then we can say that she's a true survivor, and the chances of her making it to adulthood after that will, I'm sure, increase dramatically. So that one, with its head up, it looks like it's cleaning itself. And I thought for a second that as it picked up its head, it looked like one of the adult females. But as it turns, it's actually one of the cubs, or the sub-adults. And as he stands, see that long chest hair that he's starting to develop. And so they're starting to grow, and it almost seems like they're growing by the day at the moment. And I'm sure it's helped with these big full bellies that they get to have once or twice every day or two. Here he comes over. Let's see. He's walking. He's walked a total of 1 meter and now sat down. He was walking straight towards one of the other sub-adults, so I thought maybe he was going to lie down and pester them. But what's really cool about this is his mane looks like it's already starting to change color. He's a little under, what is he, about 1 year and 9 months old now. And I wonder if that's more dirt than an actual color change. I mean, when lions feed, they are incredibly dirty. But it does look like it's very, very dark compared to the hair around him, especially on the top of its head and on the sides. And that is usually the color of what the mane at this age would look like. Okay, there we go. One of the adults has got her head up. Okay, so whilst these lions are looking for a place to settle down, I think Owen and I will hang around just in case they decide to move one last time in the morning. But it sounds like that leopard at Juma is also settling down, so let's go and see if she's found a comfortable spot.
Yes, she has, amongst some sticks. We have a great view of her very impressive shoulder blades, I must say. It almost looks like a heart. It's nice to see that she's relaxing. Usually we've seen her hunting or on the move. But she's just chilling, which is soft call for the cub to come out. She's such a beautiful cat. Every single time we find a leopard, I think we are so lucky. So lucky. I've seen my fair share of leopard cubs, and I'd be ecstatic if I could just see our very own Tandis. That little little boy was first seen towards the end of March. And from what I've heard from the others, he looks great. His paws are getting quite big. Oh, she almost gave me hope there when she lifted up her head. And we're down again. I quite like this feeling of being a little far away or further away from the animals during sightings. It gives us this truly amazing feeling of them and their natural environment. Sometimes they come closer, and sometimes you end up closer because they've moved or whatever, and that's lovely too. But I like seeing them from afar. It's almost as if you're watching them unaffected by your observation and your presence. So you can see it's very difficult to spot her in there. Helen, you'd like to know if there's any leopards on the property that we haven't identified. They're just unknown nomads. I believe there was a male, an unknown male at one point. It wasn't Mulwati. I've never seen this male, and I haven't heard about him. In fact, I think it was Tristan that told me about him a couple months back. And that was it. Oh, we're up. Where are we going? This drainage is tough, guys. I'm gonna try and get around and see if we can grab a better image of her, but I'm gonna send you over to Raymond with some gorgeous Ellies in the meantime.
Yes, indeed, I believe that everyone did enjoy. The leopard did something very special, which is can't often find it. We finally relocated this elephant as we were following them. They are on a mission. They're moving a little bit more faster, but before it was very relaxed, all of them. So can move a little bit forward that we can manage to view, and then off we go as they are not relaxing. We can't keep on following them. Definitely they don't want to relax. They're mobiling a little bit more faster. I think maybe it's time for them to get water or whatever. So they don't want to relax a little bit for us. They keep on walking a little bit. So Nadi, actually, no, definitely about the weather for this elephant, unless if it is very, very hot. Therefore, it's aware there can be a problem with the weather, but nothing about it at this moment. So they can go through all over Mudan, whatever, because as I said, they are poor on digesting, so they need to eat time and again, because they are dropping very fast. You can look that baby on its mom. It's milking. Oh, now it's done. Yeah, it's so nice for this one. I just heard something calling. I thought maybe it's something, but I finally end up getting it is also another elephant, which are making sound at about southwest around that side. You can see did someone trying to, because it doesn't have a tusk, it's only using its trunk. So it's have got a tusk, it's also helping them by its trunk. Its elephant doesn't run very fast, but they can manage to reach 40 kilometers a day. I mean, can walk for 40 kilometers per day. So can run over 33 to 33 kilometers an hour. That is too fast for human being. Yes, Enjoyer. I also do. And I believe everyone do like. Because the only animal which are more, also have got a memory. Their memory is also very good as well. More than evenly a human being. It's not easy for them to forget. Okay, we will move because now they are a little bit far. Maybe we can get a chance to see Tandy.
So not too much has changed here. On the odd occasion, these lions do pick up their heads and look around, and so we have been able to get a pretty accurate count. And the female that's in picture at the moment is the young female that's got the cubs. And we've had a very, very good look around here, and I don't think she brought the cubs to the rest of the pride. And so she might have just heard them calling, left the cubs, went to go and see if she could maybe go hunting with experienced females, and she might be looking to return back to the cubs either at some stage today or maybe into the night. We've got this young male walking over. Let's see if he decides to irritate one of the other ones or if he's just going to sit in the sand. No. He's not in the mood to play around. I think with such a full belly, he's just happy to rest. So we've got a very unique view of the one white male on the left there. He's actually just rolled over and he's stayed on his back. And so he is completely passed out, sleeping on his back, pretty much legs up in the air. And I've actually seen him before, whilst he's sleeping, with his front paw, reach down and start scratching his belly. And so he seems like he is in a very deep, happy sleep at the moment. And if we go on straight back and right, that one lioness has just picked up her head there. And if we have a close look around her face, if you look at that eye that she's showing us now, look at the white stripe just below it and see if you can see a scar. So that is the mother of this white cub. But let's have a quick look. This older lioness is up, and she's actually, looks like she's limping. See that? So that's the front right leg that she's not putting too much pressure on, and she's got a cut on the bridge of her nose. Sure, and she's going to settle down there. And she is one of the dominant females of the pride. She's old, experienced, and so I'm sure she's had several different cuts like this and little bruises. So it doesn't seem like it's going to affect her too much. But interesting to see these dynamics and how much things are changing in the course of the last couple of months. She's settled down now. We'll hang around for a little bit longer just to see if we can see any other lions, and maybe the cubs might have returned. But it sounds like there are meerkats waiting to say good morning up at Tswalu, so let's send you across there.
Good afternoon, everyone, from another beautiful day at Tswalu Kalahari. Jean-Ray on camera, working his absolutely incredible magic over there, and my name's Dylan, for those of you who haven't met us yet. I'm quite disappointed that you've taken so long to come over to us this morning. We've been waiting here since 6 o'clock this morning for you. These meerkats are almost adults, these pups. That's how long it took you to get to us. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, it is fantastic having you with us. As always, sorry, we had some technical issues. Jean-Ray and Davy, who many of you will know from the other feeds already, they worked their absolute tech genius, whatever they did up there, but it seems to have worked. So it's fantastic having you all back, and thank you for joining us, even if it's in the dying minutes of the show here. We are with the meerkats, as you can see, in case you might not have realized that by now. We were just chatting with Veronique, the meerkat habituator, just how incredibly active these little pups are becoming, and you can see them starting to play around over here. And not only that, just the speed that they are growing at is pretty phenomenal. In the past 3 days even, their motor drive skills, their ability, in other words, their ability to interact with each other, their coordination, everything is just going in leaps and bounds. So this is not going to be a long thing. Over the next couple of weeks, it's going to really be interesting to see just how fast these pups develop, and you'll notice it because we'll be spending time with them every single day here. So you'll see just how fast they actually develop. But don't be shy to ask us questions, send them through, and let's see if we can actually get some answers for you. And I've got something really exciting to tell you as well. And just it wasn't, you know, with the tech issues that we had yesterday, we were sitting at that duck shelter. Well, we made this little duck blind quite far from the nest. So we've got some super exciting news for you, and we're going to try to stick it out this afternoon. If any of you really want to join us for that, I think it's going to be totally worthwhile. We actually had that female, Shelly Shelby. She actually exited the burrow at 5 o'clock on the nose, went to feed, and at 10 to 6, she came back straight to the burrow, didn't waddle around. She came straight, landed behind some bushes, walked through and down into it. So if you're keen for it this afternoon, Jean-Ray, Davy and myself, we're going to do a stakeout at that burrow again, and hopefully, no promises, but hopefully we'll get some really cool shell duck viewing for you.
Cruise camp off for you, Tina.
We have just tried to get another view of Thandi, but she is flat in there, and it's very difficult to get in, mostly because there's tambotis growing all around, so we can't drive over them, we can't damage them. So she's in there flat, absolutely flat. I can't see a thing. I saw briefly when we were in a different position, and then she went flat. And you can see that the really tall grass means that she'll be very well hidden. Now, James Richard has told us that the leopard that I was talking about, the male that was unidentified or unknown that Tristan was telling me about, has been named. And his name is Matswiri. I think he's been recently named. Oh, thank you very much, James Richard. It's always awesome to get information like that. I really hope that she'll just chill here for the whole day, and we can come back and find her this afternoon, because this particular space, this particular area is very promising to be able to see that cub. Very promising indeed. And she's deep in there. I mean, you know how Thandi is. She could have given us the slip and we didn't even know. We think she's just sitting down in there, but she's actually gone. So hopefully she'll be around this afternoon. I definitely hope so. Well, you know what? I'm satisfied with our day anyway. Hyena cubs, hyena interactions, Thandi, trees, Mulwati, all those beautiful things. So I think that I'm going to pull out of here. Hopefully we'll catch her again in the afternoon.
Although the pride is settling down and sleeping, it is nice to see that they're picking up their heads every now and again, and we get to see them quite nicely. So one of the adult females has gotten up and moved off into the bushes, and she lay down right underneath a tree. So I think that's going to be her at least for the morning, and probably right up until this evening. So she is somewhere in there, and then the rest of them are pretty much all in exactly the same spot. What's really cool is a few of them have gotten up and have moved towards this open patch, and I wonder if the grass is maybe not just a little itchy on their skin, and so coming out into an open patch of sand where there's no grass and no real chance of ticks coming onto their skin might be a bit better. So this afternoon they might even move down towards the river and lie in the riverbed, and that way we'll be able to see the whole pride quite nicely. See, so they're all scattered around here. There's one, that's the youngest one in the sub-adult group. So she's the sister of the white female, and then she's still got her head up, but she looks like she's sleeping. And there's another one just over our tracker seat there. You can see she's one of the ones that we initially saw getting up and move. And then there's another one who's actually separated herself slightly and is more onto the right-hand side there. And she's lying at the base of the tree. And just incredible how she's only 15 meters away from us. And I mean, when I looked at my monitor here, I thought Owen actually had missed her. But she's so well camouflaged with her surroundings. Just, it all takes a couple of grasses that are exactly the same color as her, and she disappears so easily. But it's starting to, I mean, the sun is starting to pop out, the wind is cooling everything down. And so I think these lions are in for a comfortable and very snoozy day. And some of the lions have got a little bit of pink on them still. And so they must have fed, I would say, must have fed in the early hours of the morning, I would say. So this is the one that we actually saw watching us for quite some time, the one with the much darker mane. And it's quite cool to see him from this side, because now we get to see his chest there and how little mane and how short the hair is on the top of his head. And so the next strand that will start growing, and you can just see it in between the ears. If he turns his head nicely, there's a little piece of mane starting to grow. And so he's going to start developing this quite pronounced mohawk. And then from there, when the mohawk grows nice and long, it will start filling down behind the ears, and then eventually it will join up with the chest. So we've got a really nice view. The adults have picked up their heads, and that young lioness, the one with the cubs, so more to the right, their own. Yeah, that one. She's looking straight at us. And so that's the lioness who's been doing so well. Yeah, Bobby, I mean, it is quite interesting. I think, you know, when lions are growing their manes, especially as young teenage boys, it tends to grow in a similar fashion where it starts at the chest and then it grows out. But they do sometimes grow at different stages. So sometimes they'll grow much faster and they'll have bigger manes earlier on. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer for that mane to eventually fill out. And so we've got three males, and maybe we can have a look at the different ones. So we've just seen this one that we looked at quite nicely. If we move over to the left, the one that's staring at us next to that female with a slightly injured leg. So that one there. So let's see if you can see a difference in his mane development compared to his cousin. So he might be slightly younger, but only by a couple of months. And look at his mohawk is quite a lot more pronounced, I would say. There's that one strand of hair just behind the ears on top of the head that you can see really nicely from here. And his mane on his chest looks pretty nice and full. And then the next best example is the white male who's standing or sitting next to him. And he's facing away from us. And if you look at his mohawk development, I guess, there's almost no long hair at the top of his head in between his ears. But from the back of his head down his neck, that mane seems to be growing really nicely. And it almost looks like his mane is starting to grow out down towards his chest already. And so, I mean, that's three young males that we've looked at who are pretty much exactly the same. and all of their manes are developing in slightly different. We've got about 8 minutes to show end, and they haven't really moved too much, so I'm not hoping that they're going to move too much, but I think we might just stick around to see if they do happen to move a little bit more than they have already.
So 3 of the group have actually left now. They've just gone foraging. They're way down the bottom over here. Well, when I say way, they're about 40 yards from the actual burrow system. I'm not going to walk closer because the others with the pups are actually slowly starting to move out in that direction. And although they are super habituated to us, I just don't like coming between a group of animals like this. If they approach you, that's a different story. But we really want to observe these animals without any interference whatsoever. So that's number 4 that's now moved down to these. So there's 4 adults here, 2 remaining at the burrow. And it'll be interesting to see if the pups actually go out foraging with the group. Remember, we were chatting about it briefly the other day, where the trend seems to be that every second day the pups will go foraging with the group. And then the other day that they'll just stay at the burrows with the babysitters. But these adults are going to have their hands full in no short time because these pups are becoming so active now, and they're spending a lot of time above ground, and yet they still don't have that situational awareness, and I don't think probably the understanding of danger in terms of jackals, caracal, African wildcats, raptors, birds of prey, those kind of things and that. So these adults have really got their work cut out for them in terms of making sure that as the pups are becoming more and more mobile, the vigilance just really has to be on form. Yes, I'm so glad. And those of you who have been with this group from the start will remember we started with 5 pups. We are down to 3. That is totally normal. In fact, if there were still 5 by this stage, I would have been quite surprised. This natural attrition, and we don't know what caused that. I mean, they could have been eaten by something, they could have just been a little bit weaker, who knows, but anyway, that's just the way life is.
Yes, indeed, we're still in a safari where we're still enjoying differences. We need to enjoy something special. Right in front of us, we have got a hornbill. I like very much this type of hornbill. No matter, this is a red one. We also have got a yellow one, but their behavior is the same. The reason for me to like this hornbill, it is their behavior. They know each other and they respect, and they're also looking for the family. Sometimes you can find one alone like this one. Mostly it is a male. The male one, sometimes they do separate. And if they are hatching, the female one, she stay on eggs together with the eggs until starting to get some chicks. So while she's in the hole, the male seal the hole in front, closing until to get chicks. So the male have to walk, trying to get something. As you see over here, she's just taking an eat for herself, taking an eat herself. So if there is something to feed, she have to take and run straight to the hole where the female together with the chicks are, and she have to feed them. So the female inside over that hole, she have to supply all the chicks now or flow off. She have to supply everyone that now who haven't got anything. No matter she fly off, but I still have got some interesting story about these chicks, about this bird. It is very nice bird for life that they can manage to feed the chicks and the mom on a whole until starting to produce the wings. When they're ready to fly, the male have to break that seal in order for them to fly, all of them. Yes, fine. This hornbill is very interesting to me, and it is very good as it fly off. We need to see something different. Yeah, we're moving on, trying to see something different.
These little guys are now moving further and further away. There's still 2 babysitters with the pups at the burrow, but they keep looking intently in the direction of where these others are going. I think if they carry on moving in that way, these ones are going to be able to see them for a long way away, because it's sort of this gentle slope out in that way. So they'll be able to see them for probably another 2-3 hours yet, if they carry on going in that direction. And of course, what that'll mean is these pups will want to keep on following. And the one that is the large one, the adult that's closest to camera now, that's the one that's always been super nervous, and he's just really accepted us now, which is very, very encouraging. But that's the one that tends to, every time a pup moves out, tends to grab it and try to take it back to the burrow, and grab it and take it back to the burrow. And it's actually really entertaining to watch, because if he's sitting there by himself and he's got those 3 pups, they're going to give him such a runaround. And yet he may just leave them this time and let them just go foraging with the group, in which case he'll go with as well. So when the pups are with the group, no meerkats, no adult meerkats will stay behind at the burrows. So because obviously then there's no purpose in the babysitting process. But he will still be on okay, they actually are moving out with him. So I'm not going to move, and hopefully they'll actually have the courage to come past where I'm standing over here. So I'll just stick around here with Jean-Andre and Davy and just see what actually ends up happening here. Butterfly says, we have puppy love. Yep, this is pup love at its best, eh? But yeah, as always, and I know I keep saying it, but it's very, very special having you all with us on these drives that we do, whether it's here or with any of our other safaris. Join us this afternoon. It's going to be super exciting with the duck. Stay safe, and I can't wait to have you with us again this afternoon.